The rest of the year for me has turned into evaluation, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. Listen, this team has got injured. Your best player, well, your quarterback, your leader of your team is gone for the year. So I said right then and there that this has to turn into evaluation. Well, what if I evaluated this defense has if nothing else not given up and shown you two players that you can build off of, like that you can build around for sure. And one of those guys is DeMarvin Overshown. The other guy is Micah Parsons. Since Micah Parsons has been back, the pressures has been up. The defense has played with a different energy. And if it's me, and when we do these mock draft exercises, we can attack each one in different ways. So I'm going to give you guys draft profiles and draft scouting reports. I've been doing that for years. But every other week, I'm going to do a mock draft, and let's just try to attack how we build the team in different ways. Like, could there be a world where you say, you know what, let's make this defense as good as we possibly can. Let's run the ball. Let's build this defense around Overshown. Let's build this defense around Micah Parsons. Let's run the ball. Let's limit attempts for Dak. Let's play great defense. The Steelers are doing it. The Steelers have a plus record. They're leading the AFC North right now. Like, crazier things have happened if you have that mindset. And we don't know who the coach is going to be, so it's going to be interesting. We know we do need to upgrade the running back position. We know we do need to upgrade the receivers in ways, right? But I just did a video on how well the tight ends are playing. So that leans into my being able to run the ball, especially on the edge. There's different ways to build a team, and I think with this mock draft, I wanted to attack the defense, and I wanted to say, you know what? Let's play great defense. But before we get into that, BetUS. Thank you, BetUS, for sponsoring this channel. All your betting needs. Boxing, NBA, soccer, tennis, NFL, NCAA. The playoffs are coming up. You got championship week this week. I mean, hell, if you want to take Penn State over Oregon, I think that would be a nice play. If you want to take the Cowboys, with the Cowboys are 6-point dogs. If you want to take the Cowboys and play that number versus Cincy, I would do it. The Cowboys have a better record than Cincy, and I like the Cowboys D-line. BetUS can take care of you. They have all those plays. BetUS. Thank you so much for sponsoring this channel. Use promo code YouTube150. BetUS, we love you. Foots loves you over here, BetUS. Thank you so much. Let's get into this Cowboys 3-round mocker. I built the board a little bit differently, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go. Pick 13, pick 45, pick 77. In the first round, I went Georgia DN, Georgia linebacker, Jalen Walker. To me, this guy has the athletic profile that I can't pass up on. It's very interesting because he reminds me of Micah Parsons in a lot of ways. The way Georgia used him last year, they used him more of an edge rusher. This year, they used him more as a off-ball linebacker he would walk down on third downs. If you watch the Texas game from earlier this year, his tape says top 5. I mean, he took over that game. He's running. He's chasing Quinn Ewers. He just looks like a physical beast. And one of the things that I like about him is while he does struggle in coverage, he has some of the best, like when he gets to the ball, play over. When he comes downhill, play over. And I think that if you pair that with Maris Lewis-Fowle, with DeMarvin Overshown, because we got to remember, Eric Kendricks is not under contract next year. So we don't know how we're going to look linebacker-wise outside of Overshown and Maris Lewis-Fowle. But I want to get as many chess pieces on the field as possible. I think that it's a foregone conclusion. I think that Mike Zimmer is going to be back. That's just the way that Jerry does things. I think that you can use him in that Anthony Barr type of a role. And honestly, I think he has more upside than Anthony Barr. I'm hearing he's going to run a 4.5. He's already about 255, 260. I would call him a poor man's Abdul Carter, but not really. It's just the way that he's been used at Georgia. They have Mykel Williams, so they have guys on that defense. And Georgia's defense, they've been known to kind of have these tweeners that some of them hit in the league, some of them don't. Now, some of his strengths, runs to the ball, can be used as a spy in the run game. In the quarterback run game, he's great at end. Like he has the same amount of sacks as he had last year, 5, but he has more tackles for loss and he has more tackles this year to this point. So like his production has gotten much better. But one of the things that he does struggle with is he's not really great away from the football. So he's not really great in coverage. But we have to think about our division. I want as many athletes on the field that can do multiple things as possible. Philly runs the ball, plays with Saquon Barkley. Jaden Daniels is now in your division. The Giants, I'm sure they have Tyrone Tracy already, and I'm sure they're going to upgrade their weapons. you need good defense. You need as many athletes on the field as possible. Pairing a guy like Jalen Walker, okay, with Micah Parsons and DeMarvion Overshown, not to mention of what you may get in the draft and what you already have on the back end, I think that could be a nice pairing. I went Jalen Walker in the first round. In the second round, pick 45, I went Walter Nolan, defensive line, Mississippi, Ole Miss. Now, I don't know how realistic this is because I have a first-round grade on Walter Nolan, but what I will say is this. We know how the NFL draft goes. Quarterbacks get pushed up. They just do. Quarterbacks push good players down the board, and depending on how you think of a 290, 95-pound defensive lineman, he won't be for everybody because he's very twitched up, but he's not that big body plugger that, let's be honest, the NFL wants. Mason Graham is going to go high. I think that the Kentucky kid is going to go high. Where does that leave a guy like Walter Nolan and he doesn't fit everybody's scheme? The Cowboys may not be able to retain Osa Odigizua. I love Walter Nolan's film. Now, how realistic is he that he's sitting and staring at you at 45? I don't know. But what does this do? Mozzie Smith is playing better football, regardless of what Twitter says, regardless of what anybody says. Mozzie Smith has kind of turned the page. Bringing in somebody like Walter Nolan who could come, his hands are, he will come and just beat you up on the line of scrimmage. A former 5-star, transferring from Texas A&M. He will beat you up on the line of scrimmage. Go watch the South Carolina game. I got it written down in my notes. Go watch the South Carolina game. In 2023, he actually had a better year than this year. He had 7 sacks, 20 solo tackles. This guy is a run-stopping fiend, even at 295. But the size will deter some people. But the one thing that I love about Nolan, 5 technique, 3 technique, 1 technique, 7. He can play every position on the D-line. So now you have Golson. Now you have Mozzie. I just said that we want to bring Zimmer back. We want to bring that staff back. You want to bring Jeff Z back. Those guys who are already teaching, play with hands, play at the line of scrimmage, beat guys up. That's already what Nolan loves to do. Now you have certain packages that you can have with him and kneeling on rush downs, and then you bring in your speed package with Jalen Walker, Micah, Overshown. It can be a problem. Let's make this defense amazing. Let's make this defense great. Let's run the ball. Walter Nolan would be my pick at 45. If the board fell this way, you would have to take Walter Nolan, even over some of the receivers that you love, because he's just that good. Round 3, I went to Tennessee running back Dylan Sampson. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If this guy was 210 pounds, he'd be a first-round pick, and he'd be in competition for RB1 with Ashton Genty. The only knock on him is his size. And when I watched him next to his quarterback, it's like, dog, he looks small. I don't think that he's 5'10", 5'11", as he's listed. His strengths, and I'll get to it, man, fast, breakaway speed, 4.3 speed. He's going to run a 4.3 at the combine. Only knock on him is he's 190 pounds. So one of his weaknesses is you just don't see a guy who can be an every down bell cow back. But I made the mistake of underrating Bucky Irvin. And we see what he's doing in Tampa Bay with the Rashad White. And so my thinking is this. Could you pair him with the Rico Dowdle, who I've said Rico Dowdle alone is not enough? And I'm going to be honest with you. I still don't think, even running against the Giants, he's not enough. I want another back, and I think the Cowboys are going to have to address running back in free agency, and they're going to have to draft a back, or they could draft 2 backs. But I do believe that in a dual back system, not a the Cowboys ran with the running back by committee system. It was a joke. Deuce Vaughn, unserious. Rico Dowdle by himself to me is unserious. He's played better. He has his first 100-yard game, but I don't want to be prisoner of the moment. I don't not like Rico Dowdle, but I just don't want to be prisoner of the moment. But so I won't say that's unserious. I won't give him the unserious tag. I think that was okay. But like, let's think about it. They waited forever to give Rico the shot to be the one. And then Ezekiel Elliott, completely unserious. You bring in Dylan Sampson. He's at about 1,400 rushing yards. He averaged 5 yards a carry this year. And if you watch the Georgia game, that was the game that I watched. It was a tough 107 yards rushing, man. But that's against all NFL competition. Walker was on that tape. Michael Williams, like, there are guys on that tape. And Dylan Sampson ran the ball hard. He ran the ball physical. And another one of his strengths that I forgot to mention, he is really good with patience. One of the things that Rico Dowdle struggles with to me is he doesn't let lanes develop and then hit it. One of the things that Dylan Sampson, that's one of his strengths. Again, this guy, if he's 210, first round pick. His strength to me is his patience. He understands, let's let these pullers hit here, boom. Let's let this linebacker overrun this run, then boom. Go watch. He had a long run against Georgia where he just let the pull game develop, let it develop, boom, hit it out the back door, touchdown. Dylan Sampson will be a home run pick. You put him in that backfield. Now you're playing great defense. You're going to have to address receiver at some point, whether it's free agency, one of these guys keep getting better. But now I have an amazing defense and I can run the ball. What do you guys think about this mock draft? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you say, Foots, you don't know what you're doing? If you do, I probably cry, but I love you guys anyway. More draft content coming your way. It's your boy Foots as always. Thank you all for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Let's get on our way to 36K, y'all. Well, you know what? We're at 36. Let's get on our way to 37. We're at 1 and 2. Either way, I love you guys because you guys are here. You guys are watching this. All right.